In this video, I'll cover how business people judge if data people have business acumen. Now, many data people want to be trusted thought partners with senior executives, and they feel frustrated when those executives only see them as like people who fetch data instead of really true thought partners. The reason this is happening is because of the way business people judge your business acumen. If they think that you have great business acumen, they're going to want to have you as that trusted advisor, and they're not just going to want to have you go get the data. But if they don't trust your business acumen, then they're just going to want to have you fetch the data and then rely on themselves to interpret it because they're not going to feel like they can trust your interpretation. And here's the specific process of how business people are going to judge the business acumen of a data person. It's through the questions that you're able to ask them and the conversations that follow from that. There are certain types and categories of questions that only someone with understanding and business acumen is able to ask, because unless you deeply understood the topic, you wouldn't even be able to ask the question. And I'll give an example from the data world. Imagine that you worked at a bank and you tell someone that you switched from a decision tree model to a random forest model to approve loan applications. If someone comes back to you and says, "How did that turn out?" or "Why did you do that?" it doesn't really show any understanding of the domain. Anyone in the world could ask that question. But imagine if you asked, "How did you deal with going from being able to completely explain your loan decisions to now only having general understanding of feature importance? Did that cause any regulatory issues?" Asking a question like that shows real depth of knowledge in a couple of areas. Number one, on the data side, it shows that you understand the difference between a decision tree and a random forest tree, all the way down to the level of how you can explain the results coming out of those models. And that's a depth of understanding that, unless you really knew the subject when you had a random conversation, you wouldn't be able to ask. It shows that you understand the data side of this. Number two, that original question shows that you also have an understanding of the financial regulatory landscape, because one of the things in making loans is that there are a number of protected personal attributes that you're not allowed to use in loan decision making, like race, gender, etc. And so by asking this question, you understand that in a loan making context, it's extremely important on the regulatory and legal side that you're able to prove that you're not using those attributes when you're making loan decision making. And that's why when you're able to ask a question like that, you can prove your business acumen, you can prove your data acumen. And this goes for any executive conversation. When you meet with executives, are the questions that you're asking and the conversations that you're having, are they displaying a deep level of understanding of both your specific business as well as the general industry? And if you are able to do that, then it is highly likely that the business person that you're working with is going to trust you as you're working on solving business problems together, because you're able to prove that you can be trusted, that you do have a deep understanding of the domain that you're working on. And if your questions and your conversations are not displaying that depth of knowledge, then that's something that I would work on as a data person to get to the level where you're able to have those types of conversations, because that's what's going to turn you from someone who just fetches data into a trusted advisor. And if you're interested in developing your business acumen as a data person, I'll be posting lots of content on that topic. So subscribe if you want to follow along. Take care. Have a great day.